This is the, I think, 50th anniversary year of the time that she, I think, ran for president, or was elected to Congress, and then ran for president. And she inspired me, and she was unbought and unbossed. And I loved her fire, I loved her spirit, and I told my parents, I remember saying to them, I want to be just like Shirley Chisholm. And you know what? They just told me I could. Now, I didn't know that it was not going to happen for another, 40 years. But I always believed that I could do whatever I set my mind to.
You know, I'm going to jump all around because, like I said, we're going to have a conversation. I want people to know who Donna Edwards is, right? And Shirley Chisholm is a woman so iconic that is rarely spoke about. She is spoken about. Now, don't get me wrong, and you already know that because you spoke about her right here and now. However, she is not one that is brought up often as a leader in her community, the very first Black woman to run for president of the United States. A lot of people don't know that. And she was one of the women who I know you love to often quote, that if there is not a seat at the table, you bring a folding chair. And you've always done that in your career.
Well, I don't think anybody sort of starts from scratch. We always build on one generation to the next generation. I build on my mom and my grandmother. My grandmother was, came up from a farmer family, but don't anybody tell her that she couldn't do what she wanted to do, and she raised a great family. My mother did the same thing, and I look at women like Shirley Chisholm and Barbara Jordan and so many of our icons. Sojourner Truth and Harriet Tubman, and I say to myself, we have to build on their progress. We can't continue just to have firsts. We need seconds and thirds and fourths, and I think Shirley Chisholm inspired that in me. But when you think about what she did, when she came into Congress, they wouldn't even let her sit in a committee room, and she was an elected member of the House of Representatives. And she was just like, well, I'm going to be in this House, a member of Congress, and you will respect me. And I just always admired that, and I do to this day. And I like to think that I carry myself in that kind of mold and not always worried about what people want for you or what they design for you, but what you want to do and what you want for yourself, and always keeping in mind that it's really about the people you serve and it's about service.
Great segue into the people you serve and about service. Being involved in community can sometimes be difficult. It can be daunting because a person doesn't know where to start or how to start. What do you say to the young Donna Edwards, to the young Kendra Woods? How do you get out there? What do you do? How do you make that first step?
Well, I think one of the things I do, and I did this when I was in Congress, I think I visited something like 150 schools when I was in Congress, public and private, from kindergarten to 12th grade. And the reason that I visited them is because I thought it was important for young boys and girls, and especially Black boys and girls, to see that, there's a woman who sits in that seat and that they could do that too. And I think when young people see who they can be, they aspire to that. They always live up to our expectations, which is why our expectations should be high. And I took that as part of my service when I was in Congress, and I do today. And I know, and I believe people are always watching us, and that we can lead in a whole bunch of different places. You lead, here